Good morning, everybody. Here is Sir Jude, and here's the video lecture for our lesson this morning. So after homeostasis, I ask you to infer the progressions involved in each picture. So we have cave or three symbols, followed by handwritten letters, telegraphs, telephones, cell phones, and smartphones. So as you can see, no, by the way people convey their messages, based on these illustrations, we can infer that we have evolution of communication. So before now, people had to rely on nature and natural resources so that they can convey what they want to say or what they want to leave to others. But right now, just simple click with the help of Wi-Fi, they can already register messages urgently. Okay. Next, we have indoor performance, outdoor theater, cinema, television, home video rentals, streaming, and artificial intelligence or AI. So naturally, these pictures depict evolution of entertainment. So before, no, when people were so bored, they have to act what they see outside through inside. And then because most people were stuck inside, no, they have to entertain themselves outside. Okay. And for other people in other countries to see it, they have to video record it on to record it using film. Yeah, we have cinema. And for those people who can't afford cinema tickets, no, but can afford television, if they don't want to go outside, they just have to watch uh films on television. And if you want to purchase films back then, no? When I was young, abutan ko pa to, you have to rent the films. And right now, what we experience right now is streaming and artificial intelligence. So what's fascinating about evolution of entertainment is that it started inside the home, and right now it's still pabalik sa bahay. So what goes around comes around when it comes to entertainment. Okay. Next is we have the skulls and the representations of Australopithecus, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Neanderthals, and Homo sapiens. So what we have is the evolution of man. So with the three sets of pictures, no, we can conclude that our lesson is about evolution. When we say evolution, we're talking about gradual changes over time. So may mga pagbabago na hindi agad-agad nangyayari ng mabilisan. No? Sometimes it takes so many years for a change to occur, whether by intention, whether by necessity, right? Or whether it's what the trend needs. Right? Nobody here declares na parang, oh, by gantong year, dapat ganito na. If that's what the situation calls for, then that's the time na may pagbabago magaganap. So, since we're in biology, no, we're going to tackle evolution through changes in inherited traits. What we inherited from our parents, then what parents inherited from grandparents, what grandparents inherited from great grandparents, and so on and so forth, to the point that we have to ask ourselves, who is our ancestor or the first organism? So, theologically speaking, if we're going to refer to the Bible, then ang lalabas na unang ancestor, human ancestors natin ay sina Adam and Eve. Then, if we can recall at the Genesis chapter, Adam and Eve was created by God. But this is where the dispute when it comes to science and religion. Okay, so when it comes to the subject or when it comes to the conversations about God, no, science doesn't really acknowledge him as like the first being because something has to happen for him to exist. And in the Bible, kasi he existed already, he created himself, no? And at the same time, no, we wouldn't be here if there was no first organism in the first place. So therefore, just for the purpose of our discussion, we will just call our ancestor as an ambiguous ancestor. All right? So, based from, ayoko maging too much technical when it comes to all. sino ba yung unang ancestor natin or yung inaakalang unang ancestor, then how did we end up as beings right now. So based on scientists research over the past few years, no, hindi pa naman na talaga nahanap kung sino yung first ancestor, but naniniwala sila that we originated from early inorganic molecules, so non-living things. Then something happened within this early inorganic molecules, so nagkaroon ng early cells, no? Then nag-evolve through bacteria. So, dito nagsisimula yung five kingdoms of life, no? Then, mas nag-evolve pa through eukaryotes such as protists, fungi, plants, and animals. I won't go too much in detail when it comes to each kingdom because other grade level science teachers will do that for you. But what I want the question that I want you to leave after this lesson is how did life evolve to where we are today? So by the way, nakalimutan ko kanina sabihin sa intro, no? We are now entering like the last three topics, no? Bago natin i-conclude ang first term ng science step. Okay? And even if hindi man natin mapin down kung sino ba yung unang ancestor natin, we can ask ourselves na what pieces of evidence do scientists use to track evolution. So, may mga remains ang mga sinaunang species, sinaunang organisms na scientists rely to trace our history way back million years ago. And that's where the bulk of the session a while ago revolved, no? The evidence of evolution. Ayan. Okay? So let's guess the identity of the organisms based on the remains. So we have the options below: ammonites, Poinsettia vidali, Tyrannosaurus rex, and trilobites. Again, I didn't delve too much when it comes to each species because there are so many prehistoric species, no? So naglagay na lang po ako ng kanilang short description. So let's start with marine arthropods, which existed 521 million years ago, which is like the precursor to insects right now. So these species are called trilobites, and we can, how do I call this? We can assume that life, no, originated somewhere in the deep seas before, or no, in the aquatic medium. Okay, so one of the most recognizable remains when it comes to prehistoric organisms is the this ancient mollusk that existed 400 million years ago, which is a precursor to shells, no? So we have the ammonites, okay? And also I have to include a plant, no? We will be tackling and concentrating most of our uh, lessons when it comes to humans and animals, but also I have to include some plants as well. So the first flowering plant, which existed 130 million years ago, is Mansacha vidali. Okay. And of course, one of the most well-known dinosaur species is the Tyrannosaurus rex. So all four of them are called are remains or what we call as fossils. No? Yan. So what we say fossils, we're referring to the traces or remains of organisms. Mga napag-iwanan ng mga yumaong organisms. Okay? And as you can see, no, the most famous appearance of fossils are the bones of dead organisms. So, and lucky for us now that the bones do not decay easily, and instead they are preserved by natural processes or catastrophic events. Sometimes they are buried, especially bones, no, they are buried way deep down underground, or some of them no were able to leave their marks on several geological what do you call this, geological probably boundaries or even formations. Ayan, na kapag activated or triggered by catastrophic events like earthquakes or volcanic eruptions, dun lang din nakikita na may ganito palang organisms before. And when we say fossils, we're not just referring about bones, no? Even though that's what we're going to tackle for most of the time. So fossils can also be feces, no? The urine, traces of urine, and as well as blood. But yun kasing mga yon ay mabilis mabulok. Kaya yeah, we rely on bones. Okay? So ayan. So you won't believe how some animals existed before, no? Let's start with horses, no? So for horses, their evolution is horses before had multiple toes like us. And as you can see from their thighs, no, masyado pang maikli. But right now, they have two pairs of hooves, no? Na parang sapatos ba nila, no? Yeah, the ones that you hear click-clacking when they start to run or when they walk. Okay, so you can assume that probably their toes started to fuse together to form the hoof, especially when they run over rough surfaces. Okay, next, ayan, ito pa lang. The whales. Okay, so for the whales, nagulat ako na before, ang kanilang ancestors ay terrestrial mammals with hind legs that they probably, kumbaga, tawag dito, sa lupa pa sila nakatira before, nakakapaglakad, yeah. And since nag-exist sila ng panahon ng mga dinosaurs, no, probably nung mag-hit yung meteor and sumabog ang vulkan, no, because when the Earth was still too immature and what do you call this? Um, Too volatile, no? Probably some organisms, no, na nakapagtago, they went underwater. And that's when they start, kumbaga, parang they start adjusting themselves to their new environment. And because of that, some of their body parts no longer exist nowadays. So they modified themselves. No, kaya whales right now swim, develop flippers, and now live in aquatic environments. Okay? Next, ayan, sa plants na naman. When it comes to plants before, the generalize ko na lang, no? Some plants had no transport system, no seeds, and no flowers. But right now, some or most of the plants now have transport systems, seeds, and flowers. Okay? So, yan. What if we start comparing fossils of several species together? No? So that's the time that we're going to move on towards the second evidence of evolution, which is comparative morphology. And in comparative morphology, it refers to comparison of structures and functions. And based on the background picture here, we're going to tackle three types of comparative morphology. Okay, let's start by comparing these four: human arm, cat leg, whale flipper, and bat wing. What does each do? So for human arm, it's used for holding, cat leg is used for walking, whale flipper is used for swimming, while bat wing is used for flying. And notice that some of their bones are color coded, no? The purple refers to humerus bone, great orange is for radius, peach or beige is for ulna, yellow is for carpals, yellow-green is for metacarpals, and blue-green is for phalanges. So, syempre, hindi naman ganun yung kulay ng mga buto in real life. It was just used, these colors were only used for comparison and for visual purposes. But what we can assume from this is that these organisms have the same structures. They have the same bones, no? Different lang in appearance. However, they have different functions. So we will call these structures homologous structures. And you might be wondering, what is the purpose of comparing fossils of different species together? Because we can also assume that magkakamag-anak din pala natin itong mga species na ito. Because after all, same bones are found in different organisms. And kung magtataka kayo, bakit nag-iba-iba na ngayon ang function? It's because of adaptation when it comes to their environment. So humans and cats live on the land, no? Whales live in aquatic environments, no, under the sea, while bats naman dwell on caves. So therefore, iba-ibang environment, iba-ibang process, iba-ibang main functions ang kailangan gawin ng ating mga selected body parts. Okay, next. So we compare shark's fin, penguin's wing, and dolphin's flipper. Okay, so all of them are used for swimming. And based on their structures, they have different structures this time, but they perform the same functions, which is swimming. So if kanina, the previous set of fossils are homologous, this second set are analogous structures, no? And we can assume also that sharks, penguins, and dolphins are magkakamag-anak in one way or another. They are related to each other because Even though they have different structures, these structures still perform the same functions. Now, the most important and at the same time, no, not the most important, they're equally important naman. But the most amazing and interesting part of comparative morphology is probably the last one, at least for me, no? So these these parts that I'm going to tackle here, no, they exist in our bodies right now, but at the same time, they have little or have no function at all. To the point that when you remove them, yes, at first it will be painful, but at the same time, no, they don't really do anything at all. No, they're not that important anymore. So let's start with the one on the left. So the part on the mouth area, the parts on the mouth area that chew tough and raw plant parts are referred to wisdom teeth. Okay? So, it's not really used that much for chewing. Nasa bandang likod siya. Yeah, it's a third molar. But before kasi our ancestors, no, hindi pa sila marunong magluto and when they don't even know how to communicate, syempre kung anong makita nilang tingin nilang edible, kakainin nila. Okay? And the next part is also related to wisdom teeth, no? So the next part naman, the organ that digests stuff and raw plant parts, this is the appendix, no? Um, so magtataka kayo bakit may wisdom teeth and appendix pa rin tayo nowadays, but we don't eat tough and raw plant parts anymore. That's because our tastes evolve, no? Natuto na tayong magluto, natuto na tayong mag-rely on most of our diet. We are omnivores, no? We rely both on plants and animals, but mostly on animals. Kaya naturally, our appetite and our uh, digestive system evolved as well. To the point na hindi na masyadong nagagamit si wisdom teeth and appendix. Nandiyan pa rin, pero di na masyadong may silbi. Okay? And lastly is movement on the pelvic area sa balakang, no? For movement, communication, defense, and balance. So ito po ang ating I read the one na lang in the parenthesis, the tailbone. Okay? So before, no, men have had tails, but right now, table na lang ang meron tayo, wala tayong buntot. Imagine the consequence, imagine the attire, imagine the dress code if we have tails right now. It would look weird and at the same time unhygienic, no? And yeah, even though we have tailbones, no, it doesn't really serve any function that yet it doesn't really serve the same function as it used to before we have ancient humans, no? So what do we call these structures that they're still present, but they don't really serve that important function anymore? We will call them vestigial structures. Okay? These are structures that were functional in an organism's ancestors but have insignificant functions today. Okay, so I reserve multiple examples. I reserve multiple examples for comparative morphology. I reserve some examples, no? Because all we did this day kasi was just characterize and differentiate aside from fossils, no, homologous, analogous, and vestigial structures. So para mas lalo pang mapalalim ang talakayan natin when it comes to this, because I'm sure information and conceptual overload na naman ito for you, and I understand na especially with the weather and suspension na naman with the PM classes, no, medyo nag-iiba ang inyong iba na naman ang inyong ang gulo na naman ang inyong attention span. So yeah, uh, we will we will delve more on this tomorrow, and we will finish evidence of evolution with the third evidence of evolution. But till then, this is Sir Jude. Good afternoon, and if you have some time, take look at your notes or take review this video lecture. See you tomorrow, and goodbye.